Hi, I'm Steffany Strange. Want to hear something scary? In light of Asian and Pacific Islander Month, we draw inspiration from a South Korean urban legend which acts as a cautionary tale. Don't take things that don't belong to you, especially from the dead. Late one evening, Yu Young was driving from his parents back to his college in Busan. It was a stormy night and the roads were treacherous, but he had an important test the following day. Trying to keep safe by staying within the speed limit and focusing on what was in front of him on the road, he couldn't believe what he saw right in front of him. Right there on the side of the road was a messed up car. It seemed like a car had crashed straight into a tree. Yu Young was conflicted. He was wondering, should he stop? Should he keep going? But he had to see if anyone was all right. Yet, judging from the mess of the car, it was highly unlikely that there were any survivors. His hands trembled against the steering wheel as he slowed down, the rain pouring against the windshield. Now, he gathered all his strength as he pulled over and, with a deep breath, exited the car. It was eerily quiet, and while he was relieved that no one was screaming from inside the vehicle, he felt very unnerved by the silence. It was too dark to see anything through the windows, so he mustered all his courage to open the driver's door. And he immediately saw that the driver was dead, and there was nothing that could be done. He stepped away from the vehicle when all of a sudden something caught his eye. The man was holding an object, which hung limply from his hand. It was a photograph. Yu Young didn't know why, but he felt like he had to take it. And impulsively, he reached into the car, shuddering as he brushed up against the man's arm, quickly grabbed the photograph without looking at it. He sped back up to his car and drove away as quickly as possible so he could get back to his campus on time. Yu Young hurried into his dorm and shook himself dry. Sitting on the bed, he finally allowed himself to look at the eerie photograph that he had just taken from a dead man. There, he studied the photograph and saw that there was this beautiful girl with long, dark hair. She was wearing a pretty tank with an M on it. She had a playful expression and her right hand was raised, holding 2 fingers up to the camera, the universal peace sign. Despite having no idea who this young woman was, he was very captivated by her beauty. He studied the photo, turned it around, and hoped that he would find a clue as to who she was, or figure out where this photo was taken. But there was nothing. Still, he was so drawn to her. He felt the need to carry the photo wherever he went over the next few days, obsessing over every possibility about who this young woman was. She was on his mind all the time, overtaking his thoughts and even haunting him in his dreams. Who was this woman? A week later, he had failed a test and was barely able to eat or drink. So he decided to go back to the tragic car accident scene. Now, he knew that the vehicle would be gone, but he hoped to find a clue who this mysterious girl was. So he got in his vehicle, placed the photo on the dashboard, and began to drive back to town towards where he was before. And like perfect timing, as he approached the turn into the road where the accident had taken place, the sky began to darken, and all of a sudden there was just all this heavy rain coming down, and it made it really hard for him to see anything. It took all of his concentration to keep from swerving off the road, as if the rain had turned into sheets of hailstone, pounding against the roof of his car. So he took his eyes off the road for like a second or two to just look at the photo of this mysterious, beautiful girl holding the peace sign up. When all of a sudden, Yu Young's car had plowed straight into an old tree, his head hitting the dashboard upon impact, and he was killed instantly. A couple of hours later, a young man named Bong was heading into Busan for a work meeting. He was nervous and fidgety, and the sudden change of weather was just not helping him ease up. The windshield wipers were overworking, and he saw a car on the opposite side of the road. There was a car completely crashed into a tree. It was very horrific, and he would be surprised if anyone had survived the impact. Still, Bong had stopped and was preparing to call an ambulance for help, but he needed to make sure if anyone had survived. So he parked his car and ran over to this site. He opened the driver's door, and sure enough, there was Yu Young's lifeless body. It was for certain that the driver was dead. Bong opened up his cell phone about to call an ambulance when something caught his eye. He reached into the car and pulled out this eerie photograph. He stared at it intently and found that there was this beautiful girl with long, dark hair. She was wearing a pretty green tank with an M on it, and her hand was raised. But this time, she had 3 fingers holding up. And just like that, he felt a desire to hold on to the photo. He couldn't explain it, but he knew this was his fate. So he took the photo and placed it on the dashboard on his car before continuing his drive to his work meeting.
We all have bad habits, and I know you know somebody that does. And recently a friend of mine came to me asking for a recommendation to break one of hers, and I mentioned Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device, and flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has a lot of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. And with flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. It's really cool. It's super small, discreet, and you can take it anywhere with you. And I recently tried the new flavors, and orange vanilla is the bomb. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code SCARY to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use my code SCARY or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your order today.
Thanks so much for listening. Like and share if this video gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. See you next time.